Right, welcome back. And as we heard here, the president preparing for the birth of this new republic, which was announced in 2021, preparing our calibers of youth to be empowered and to be able to cope with our vision for 2030 and even the beyond. Let me here welcome again our guest, Mr. Ahmed Helewa, Industrial Policy Consultant. Thank you again for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a dream for youth to that the leadership put them in the forefront of their important files. How do you view this? How do you view empowering youth, and how did the leadership work on those youth at this very particular or recent years?
Yes, actually youth are the future of our economy. They are the future leaders. What we see now that there is a political will to empower youth in different aspects of our country, including economy, social and environmental aspects. For example, the World Youth Forum, it's a very important event which happens every 2 years, which brings all to national and international stakeholders who work on youth empowerment to discuss the challenges that are facing youth in Egypt and try to find innovative solutions to overcome these challenges. As we see in the last edition of the World Youth Forum this month, we found that a lot of policymakers, international financial institutions, a lot of UN agencies, donor agencies, all of these actors are playing an important role in youth empowerment. So bringing all these actors into one platform and to support and to find practical solutions to empower youth in Egypt, not only in Egypt actually, because a lot of international institutions benefit from this model, this role model in empowering youth. So it is really, there is a big political will to empower youth in Egypt. And also at the same time, there is in parallel initiatives like presidential leadership program, which work or focus on enhancing the capacity of youth and making them leaders in different aspects of our economic activities, as working as or assigning them as deputies to governors or deputies to ministers. This helps them to gain a practical or hands-on experience on the challenges that are facing our public administration, and through training and enhancing their skills, they come up with innovative solutions to solve these problems.
Indeed, and inject new blood into institutions was also one step, as you said, respectively, putting them into positions, high positions in the country was a real step to empower those. But also, we have seen here how the leadership, beside putting them into training programs, also preparing them to cope with the vision, the overall vision of the country. For instance, there have been some programs, as you said, respectively here, the PLP, the Training Academy, other presidential initiatives that cared about their health and education and all this. From your point of view, how is providing our youth with such training prepared them for the big overall vision of the country?
Yes, training is a crucial for any aspect of our economy. So focusing on enhancing the skills of our youth and gaining critical skills like innovation, creativity, critical thinking, and other technical skills related to managing the public sector, like how to formulate budget, how to use the advanced management tools like result-based management. All of these aspects make our youth capable to be the future policymakers of our economy.
Yes. Before we continue on, let me here just take Dr. Yumna Hamai, Professor of Economics, with us, and we'll come back. Dr. Yumna, good evening to you.
Good evening.
A pleasure to have you always. And Dr. Yumna, as we're speaking tonight about the youth and empowering youth, how the leadership is putting youth in its forefront priority files, there were also two important initiatives that have been recently taking place with international partners. First, let me take how does the state work with international partners in order to help in the file of preparing youth for this upcoming stage?
Actually, this is very important because, as you know, we have a high rate of unemployment, specifically among youth. And from here it comes the importance to find opportunities of jobs, and self-employment is quite important to achieve such a goal. And this initiative is provided by UNIDO. We all know that international organizations are supporting Egypt towards addressing the unemployment challenge. And UNIDO concentrating specifically on green opportunities of jobs, which means that according to coping with the sustainable development goals and to go towards mitigation and adaptation and achieving, strengthening the role of green economy, it becomes quite important to, support youth towards their green projects. And this is one initiative supported by UNIDO regarding finding opportunities of jobs in small business in green economy. Such projects actually addressing, the two important tools for green economy, which are mitigation and adaptation. And we can find all over Egypt, in governorates, huge opportunities to achieve such a goal, either by waste collection in rural areas or by referring to renewable energy. And since UNIDO is interested more in industrialization, so regarding the industrial sector in Egypt, actually we are supporting such sector because the rate of growth in the industrial sector is only 4%, despite the potentialities of enhancing this rate of growth. Actually, we are, as government, following the goal to achieve a 9 to 10%, because recent studies had proven that if you support the industrial sector all over governorates, you can find beside clusters, industrial clusters, and industrial cities, you can find the rate of unemployment decreasing substantially because the industrial sector can provide a lot of opportunities of jobs. When you support youth, I believe this by upgrading their skills, directing and coaching them towards green projects, and this is going to be completely related to economic activities, green economic activities, according to resources available in every governorate. I believe that we have to refer to industrial maps investment maps in all governorates to specify such projects, and these projects should be integrated within economic activities, and you can find for youth, addressing youth, first of all, that we are going to find that most of them are going to be from technical schools, graduate from technical schools, which means that their capabilities are not quite good because of the type of education. Nowadays, we are taking care of the education of the technical schools, but still they need to build their capabilities and direct them towards such projects. And find for them not only non-financial services, but financial services through soft loans.
Dr. Yun, the coronavirus pandemic has shed light on the importance of addressing the labor issues and building a kind of a people-powered economy. Hence, there was this plan or report put by the Ministry of the International Cooperation. It was called Engaging for Impact Towards Our Common Future. That highlighted Egypt's support for youth entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship and innovation.
Actually, this is a very important tool to address COVID-19, because most studies nowadays have proven that what countries should do to address the pandemic is building their resilience. And, one of the most important assets that you can refer to is to, boost and strengthen the capability of youth for innovation, and taking into consideration the gender perspective, because, these are human resources. If you build their capabilities and, enhance capabilities of innovation, I believe this is going to be a gateway towards enhancing potentialities of investment, successful investment. And this is actually what international organizations are concentrating on, how to support developing countries to build their resilience by enhancing the capabilities of their youth.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Yum, finally here, if I may ask you, how do you view the importance of preparing youth, particularly as we have announced the birth of the new republic?
Actually, we have the initiative of Decent Life. And this initiative is quite promising to enhance the quality of life for Egyptians, generally speaking, and specifically for youth. And when you refer to the main goals of such initiative, I believe that addressing human resources becoming a very important target for such initiative, and this is quite important to support those youth towards economic empowerment first of all, and this is by building their capabilities. So I believe that coping with the Sustainable Development Goals means to take into consideration the three dimensions: economic, social, and environmental. And, by addressing youth, you can be sure that, inshallah, and it needs a lot of efforts actually to be done, because, building capabilities are not easy. Coaching those youth, selecting them, and then directing them to the opportunities of small business that can achieve sustainable development from one perspective, and from another, building human beings that are responsible, that have the right ethics, to achieve economic growth. This is not easy, but it's not impossible. And from here it comes the importance of these initiatives.
Right, Dr. Yumn Hamai, Professor of Economics, Cairo University, thank you so much for being with us over the phone and for your input. Back to you, Mr. Ahmed. And I guess that Dr. Yumn continued on with speaking about the initiative, but here we are addressing the rebirth of a new republic, or the birth of a new republic, Egypt, the new republic. And in which way empowering youth would really contribute to enhancing Egypt's position regionally and internationally, particularly as it prepares itself to be a hub for several issues. Part of them is youth, preparing them for entrepreneurship and startups.
Yes, here let me focus on Industry 4.0 as Industry 4.0 now it emerging in worldwide, and it is changing the whole economy. And this requires a lot of skills for youth, for entrepreneurs, for businesses in the host countries. And unlike a previous industrial revolution, developing countries will not be able to attract FDI to their countries depending on low-cost labor. So now augmented reality, Internet of Things, robotics, all of these technologies are changing the ecosystem. And this requires very advanced skills. And so empowering youth and enhancing the skills of youth and building the future industrial skills of youth will help Egypt to cope with the international developments and the new technologies. So this is very important arena to focus on, which is the industrial future skills for youth.
Good that you brought up this issue, because there were these videos that were put before as we were speaking, me and Dr. Yumn. It shows some of the cartoons. These were no cartoons, but rather this is the intelligence, or the artificial intelligence that we are putting as one of the issues, or one of the materials that our youth today are learning. If we're speaking here about or highlighting Egypt's support for youth, how is Egypt supporting youth to be entrepreneurs, startups, but also preparing them even to fulfill the requirements of job opportunities that are much needed?
Yes, Egypt took serious steps towards empowering and creating an enabling business environment for entrepreneurship. And this started with laws and regulations, as we see a lot of SMEs, the new SMEs laws, the new investment laws, the central bank initiatives, which give a lot of advantages to entrepreneurs and SMEs to start their own businesses, availing about 200 billion Egyptian pounds as loans with very low interest rate to youth. So it is laws and regulations and national policies is very, very important, which define the strategic objectives of the country, which is now existing in Egypt. The second pillar is access to finance. The financial sectors and financial institutions offers a lot of financial products to startups and entrepreneurs, especially in cooperation with development projects implemented by the UN agencies, offering seeding funds for startups. Additionally, access to business development service is one of the main aspects and enabling pillars for entrepreneurs and startups. Now we see a lot of incubation operated by national authorities, acceleration, technical assistance that is provided to youth entrepreneurs and startups. Additionally, the access to markets, facilitating access to markets, it is one of the main pillars also that help entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, as we see a lot of exhibitions that are organized under the leadership of national institutions like Al-Bazar Trade Fair, Turasna Trade Fair, also the World Youth Forum. In the last edition, we, in cooperation with the organizers, provided technical assistance to startups who participated in this event. So now there is an enabling ecosystem for startups and entrepreneurs, and we reach a good stage to support entrepreneurs. However, there is still a lot of efforts needed to support them, especially in the technology and the green industries for them.
Green industries. In green industries, particularly, Egypt has been collaborating with the UNIDO in the initiative that is called Green Trade.
Yes.
That is particularly in the agro industry, right?
Yes.
Please let us know about this, and also, because this is not the first, of course, initiative that Egypt is carrying out with its international partners or the international bodies, but also with the UNIDO, with the UNICEF on educational issues. We really want to know more about those initiatives and the role that is being played by our international partners in this.
Yes, let me start just explain what is UNIDO. UNIDO is the specialized UN agency that promotes inclusive and sustainable industrial development in developing countries. In this regard, we provide a lot of technical support at different thematic areas. This include creating shared prosperity, advancing economic competitiveness, and safeguarding the environment. Under the pillar of safeguarding the environment, we place a high priority to green industries, circular economy. In Egypt, we have more than 20 projects with a total budget of $40 million. About 80% of this budget is directed to environmental and green industries. One of these projects is Green Trade Initiative, which we implemented 3 years ago. And this initiative aims at enhancing the competitiveness of the horticultural products to be able to access to European markets, where we provided technical assistance to farmers to adopt green and organic practices in their cultivation, and at the same time we help to cope with to comply the standards of the European markets for their products, and at the same time we build the capacities of SMEs to be able to penetrate the export markets. This is what we name as value chain development. This was a start. Then last year or this year, actually, we tried to enlarge our portfolio in Egypt and to have an overarching program to promote the green industries in Egypt. So we signed with the government of Egypt what is named PCP, or Program for Country Partnership. And this program...
You're speaking about we as the UNIDO?
Yes.
Because you are part also of the program, right?
Yes, yes, I'm part of UNIDO, yes.
Yes.
In Egypt, yes. So UNIDO signed a PCP program with the government of Egypt. Its aim is to promote the inclusive and sustainable industrial development. And the green industry was one of the main components of this program. This program includes 6 main components. The first one is industrial policy and governance. The second one is investment promotion. Third is green industries. Fourth is eco-industrial parks, which is also related to green industries, value chain development, and the sixth component is about Industry 4.0. Under the green industry component, we have a lot of interventions that promote or encourage or enhance the economic competitiveness, and at the same time to safeguarding and protecting the environment. Like SHIP project, where we focus on introducing the solar systems to the industrial sector. Also the motors energy efficiency project. Also the inclusive green growth project in Upper Egypt. So we have a lot of interventions that promote the green industries in Egypt.
Indeed. Why I asked you, because now we're speaking, you can tell me in your capacity as part of the UNIDO of how indicators are putting Egypt, are we on the right path for our sustainable developments, in our helping youth? Are we on track in our vision for the whole big vision for our country? This is why I asked you, because I guess in this case I can really ask you, how are we doing?
Yes, according to the diagnostic study that we conducted over last year in cooperation with the Egyptian government, yes, I can see yes. In terms of environmental indicators, there is a reduction in the CO2 emissions resulted from the manufacturing sector. Also, the manufacturing value added is in line with the other emerging countries. The manufacturing value added in Egypt is about 16%. The CO2 emissions is decreasing. So we are on the right track, but we didn't reach the full potential of our manufacturing sector. We need to introduce new green industries, to adopt new and clean technologies in our manufacturing facilities. And this is what we are doing now in collaboration with the government of Egypt.
Yes, with the government of Egypt. Actually, you as the United...
yes, as the UNIDO, yes.
Yes, the UNIDO. And
our main counterpart is the Ministry of Trade and Industry.
Exactly.
However, we are working with other ministries like Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Local Development,
yes.
Other authorities like Industrial Development
Yes.
Authority, IMC. So all of national authorities are our counterparts, which are related to economic development.
Yes. We'll come back to our discussion, but the main one, which is youth empowerment. And before we continue on, let me here take this second report. And Egypt supports entrepreneurship, innovation, digitalization to future-proof states economy. Let's watch.